We like to call it the Supernatural Hour. And now, our hosts.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Supernatural Hour. We are back. All right. I am your host, Castle. And with us, we have our fellow hosts, Tim, a.k.a. Beaker.
What's happening?
We've got Peaches, a.k.a. Brandy.
Gotta get myself together. Hello.
We've got Silent Dawn.
Hello.
And we've got Deanne.
That would be tired Deanne this month.
You know, I was going to say...
Exhausted Deanne.
We were doing the sound check just before this, and Deanne had her glasses perched on the end of her nose like she's an 80-year-old woman.
I feel like an 80-year-old woman this month.
In fact, let me paint a picture for everybody. Deanne's got little skinny black rim 80-year-old lady glasses that were perched on the edge of her nose.
They are teal, thank you very much.
She's wearing a shawl, and her hair is pulled back. Deanne went from being a 40-year-old woman in her 40s to an 80-year-old woman in the course of a week.
My May has been insane, and it's amazing I even have brain cells to rub together right now. So the fact that I'm here, you are lucky.
So Deanne's been asking for a nickname now for 80 episodes, and I think the time has come. What do you think, Tim?
Nope.
I'm thinking we're going to start calling her Grandma Deanne.
You know what?
No.
I have no energy to even fight that.
Grandma Deanne doesn't sound like it would be appropriate. It'd just be Granny.
Granny Thomas.
That works.
Granny Thomas.
I can't even fight. I'm so tired.
And our host, Granny Thomas.
Granny Thomas.
And I'm all over it. Fine, whatever. I don't care.
You know, I was going to say...
What the hell is... Who's playing music?
It's not me.
That is not me. Who? That would be Silent
Dawn? What? That's a first.
You know, I was going to say...
Phone calls.
Now that we're going to call Deanne Granny, I can see Silent Dawn's new intro catchphrase being, "Get off my lawn!" You damn kids, get off my lawn! All right, so we are back, and we have got stuff
Are you
to
sure
talk
we're
about.
not front?
We might be side.
Okay.
What is
That's
that?
not mine.
That's me.
Nope.
Good Lord.
All right. Supernatural Hour, one by one. Hosts, are your phones on silent and not sitting on the table? Tim, go.
Vibrate, and it's not on the table. It's on the floor.
Peaches.
Mine's between my knees and it's on silent.
It's on vibrate, too.
Well, then.
Which will be very exciting.
I may or may not be calling Peaches a lot throughout the episode.
And we're 2 minutes in, and things have gotten spicy.
How's that different from any other episode?
So Silent Dawn is now holding his in his lap. It's probably on silent as well.
It is on silent and off vibrate.
It's on vibrate as well, and I'll be calling him a lot through the episode as well.
Mine is on vibrate. It's on the table. I don't have the energy to get it, but it no longer has the creepy laugh that scared the heck out of y'all last time. So
It didn't scare us. It just led into an interesting story that got cut off, and we restarted the show.
Well, it started to get annoying, especially when it went off in the middle of the night. So
Yeah, our last show we actually started recording, then we had issues and we stopped recording.
And y'all missed
started.
my awesome creepy notification sound.
You did, and it would have been cheesy to try and recreate such an awesome moment. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about business. What have we got going on? So we have got hats.
No. We have hats, because that's how you wrote it.
That's right.
There's an exclamation point. Not just hats. We have hats.
And they're awesome hats.
We have
You need to be
hats.
bees?
I should put a question mark. We have hats?
Hats?
We do have hats.
We have hats.
We will be selling those hats.
Yes.
If you would like an advanced paranormal service hat, and you can get that with the new logo on it, we will have them up on the website soon, so you can buy them there.
And then please buy the hats. That way we can buy other swag. We can have money to buy other stuff for you guys to buy.
Yeah, so here's the thing. We are selling things like hats to turn a profit. And with the money that we make from turning a profit, we'll buy more things for you to buy.
So we're starting off with hats. We would like to work our way into T-shirts and other stuff like that. So buy the hats.
So if you love us, buy hats, and then we'll buy more stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a very shoestring, but we are making it work, damn it.
Yep. Well, we also have glow necklaces and some wisps.org bracelets that we'll be selling as well.
Yeah, but this is the first of many items. We also have some those, what do you call those sticks made out of copper for talking to ghosts?
Dowsing
talking
rods.
copper
I think we
skips.
call
Dowsing
those
rods.
pencils.
We've got pencils.
We've got pencils.
We've actually got some dowsing
We
rods for
use
sale as well.
pencils to talk to ghosts. What the heck?
Those dowsing rods.
We had pencils with wisps written on them a couple years ago.
Now, our dowsing rods are kind of cool because they're different than regular dowsing rods.
Yeah, they're made by Paul Welch.
Not just Paul Welch, the Paul Welch.
The Paul Welch from Paranormal Veracity magazine.
He's Utah's one and only paranormal celebrity. We love Paul Welch dearly. But our dowsing rods have got glow-in-the-dark tip. The paranormal dowsing rods from apps or advancedparanormal.com.
I think your wife is rethinking her choice of spouse.
And we're killing peaches over there. She's dying.
Have you ever
Smart
watched Josh Gates' show? It's fascinating.
I've seen
It's
an
very
episode.
cool.
He was chasing
An
some mythological
episode?
bird somewhere.
And he never finds what
finds
he's looking
it.
for.
Well, because they're not real.
Some of them are real, but it's cool as heck.
When you're searching for a pterodactyl out on some island in like Singapore,
'Kay.
you're not gonna find it because the dinosaurs aren't alive anymore.
So here's my favorite episode.
Except for
he
birds.
was I don't even remember what they were looking
Doesn't
for,
mean they don't
Holy
have
Grail or
spirits.
something. And he got a phone call, and his wife told him while he was filming that he was going to be a dad, and he got all emotional. It was really cute.
Now, I've got a question because I don't really watch many of the paranormal shows. I've heard the name. Which show is this guy on anyway?
That show on Travel Channel,
It's called
Expedition Unknown.
Expedition Unknown, and
Okay.
he goes searching for like the Holy Grail, and
Okay, so he's not just a ghost guy. He's a
And-
kind of a
No,
fine-
he's like
a fine
all
stuff
over
guy.
it.
he's done one of his episodes. I think they were doing some ghost stuff, but it's like mythological artifacty kind of things.
That's why I didn't
Yeah.
know who he was. Okay.
It's actually a very fascinating show. If you
He's
haven't seen it, you should
he has
go
a
watch
degree in like archaeology or something, and so it's,
Yeah, he's like a modern day Indiana Jones.
yeah, it's awesome.
He's really cool, actually.
Paranormal Indiana Jones.
No,
Well, he doesn't just focus on the paranormal. Like I said, he was looking for a living, not a spirit, but a living pterodactyl.
Did he find it?
No.
no, he
Well,
never.
then how good can he be?
He found some hole though where it could have lived though.
I think the last episode I watched was a rerun. He was searching for something that Genghis Khan had, Genghis Khan's sword or something.
That's sweet.
I want Genghis Khan's sword.
It was sword.
There's a W.
Yes,
I
there is.
like- I like
Just like there's
swords.
an H on the front of herb. It's not herb.
Yeah, it's a herb.
It's a,
I eat herbs and spices.
Herb is the guy from like 2.5 Men,
basil is an
Yes.
herb.
so that's weird.
No, that's not the way you say it.
Sword.
You
Now-
Americans and your horrible
Herb.
language.
Now, Deanne, tell us about your recent residential investigation.
So it was actually kind of cool.
Hats.
This fellow we've been trying to get in and do a residential for him for over a year, and for various reasons it falls through. He's a little skittish to bring in investigators, so until we actually walked into the door, I was a little skeptical whether it was going to happen or not. But we walked in, and I already knew what was going on because I've talked to this fellow probably 4 or 5 times in the last year and a half. But the other investigators hadn't, so I said, go ahead and give them a rundown of what's going on. As I'm standing there, I can feel something behind me pushing me like it wants me to go out. And I spent the first 10 minutes trying to get whatever it was to stop pushing me. But we walked through the house, and it felt very, very heavy in this man's bedroom, and it felt very, very heavy in the kitchen. And when we went in the bedroom, Nate and I both had like all the hair on our arms stood completely up on end. Anyway, long story short, turns out there was an electrical elemental in the bedroom where our hair was standing up. And then there was a couple type 3s in
Shocking.
the kitchen. I know.
Sorry.
Couple of type
I couldn't help
3s
myself.
in the
don't know that-
kitchen, hiding in the stove.
Have we ever covered electrical elementals? I don't think I've ever seen or come across one, or I don't think we ever talked about that.
That is the first one that I have run into.
That's, that's the second I've come across.
And I had to text Gary and be like, how do we take care of this? Because I don't know what
like
to do with this.
kind of like a lightning elemental or something like that.
They're,
Or?
Yeah.
they're related to fire elementals. And I remember that when Dan called me and said, Gary, how do we deal with this? I said,
I don't remember.
Pour water on it. Stand in a bucket of water with rubber boots.
Well, it's interesting because
Peaches is just like shaking her head like, what the hell is the matter with you people?
she's like, I'm leaving.
Why
right
am I
away.
friends with these people? They're just as weird as I am.
Electrical
That's fine.
elementals can be kind of created, as it were, through anxiety and depression. And some of the issues that this fellow was dealing with very much would have anxiety and depression issues along with it, so it made complete sense. Anyway, we got a hold of Newman, and Newman was able to take care of it, and the type 3 hiding in the stove. So,
Was it a fire elemental in the stove, or
just a dark type 3.
I mean,
That's when things got hot.
That's when things were starting to heat up a little bit.
It's
my
interesting though,
God.
because when we called him and we called Caden as well, and both of them described the exact same hot spots that we had noticed while we were there, and we hadn't said anything to them, which I thought was kind of interesting. That's all.
Did you bake it or broil it?
Royal.
All right. Let's talk Benson Grist Mill. We did our investigation last night at Benson Grist Mill. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. We actually gave away a pair of Paul Welch dowsing rods.
And bacon.
And there was bacon at the
I
investigation.
told you guys there would be bacon, but
by the way, for those who did not come, we had bacon and cake.
we had cake and bacon.
Cake and bacon.
Cake and
Was there bacon
Was it
on
bacon
the
cake? Yeah.
It was not bacon cake, but there was... how much bacon was there? There's a considerable amount of bacon.
That was a bag of bacon.
It was literally a bag of pre-cooked bacon.
Yeah,
and
it was delicious.
Yes, it was. And some bastard brought red velvet cake to celebrate Lurch's birthday.
That sounds delicious.
It was delicious.
I did not partake of any because I refuse on principle.
You
The
know this is,
principle of what?
The
He's
fact that
weird.
Red
That
velvet,
it's delicious?
red velvet is not a thing.
I whacked him too many times on the head when he was little. Sorry.
I beg to differ. There's lots of colours of velvet, and red is one of them.
If we're
hell
talk-
satin.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
I do like satin. Pretty nice. Silk is wonderful also.
So we did Benson Grist Mill. We had actually a really good time. Mike Finley brought me a Pepsi Zero that he demanded I partake of.
Pepsi Max.
Or was it Pepsi Max?
Yeah.
I can't remember. It was some kind of Pepsi with no calories, and it was fantastic. So shout out to you, Mike Finley.
So was it as enjoyable as that regular Pepsi that I put a lemon in for you?
I don't know what you're even talking about.
Yeah, the waitress at the
So how about the hats? Let's talk hats.
So you told me I had to bring this up, and I'm going to because you're talking about Pepsi. So we went to Sizzler beforehand, and the waitress came out with all the drinks, and she's like, here's a Dr. Pepper, and I assumed it was L's, so we gave it to her. And then she's like, the rest of these are Pepsi. And we're like, are any of them diet? And she said, no, they're all regular Pepsi. And I said, okay. So we had her put the regular Pepsi in front of Castle's spot because he was out at the salad bar getting gross rabbit food. And she's like, well, do you want me to go get him a Diet Pepsi? And we said, no, just give him the regular Pepsi. Go get a lemon and put it in there so he'll think it's Diet Pepsi. And so she did that exactly. She's like, you guys are so terrible, and I love it.
I would agree with her.
So she did bring a Diet Pepsi, and we hid it on the table. But I waited until after he had completely consumed his regular Pepsi before we gave him the Diet Pepsi, and he started drinking the Diet Pepsi, and he didn't like make any faces or like nothing. He didn't seem like anything was out of the ordinary. So he just chugged a regular Pepsi and couldn't even tell it wasn't diet.
Joke's on you. The whole table is Diet Pepsis, and that's why I didn't notice the difference.
Yeah, I drink enough soda. You know, you see this fat guy over here?
Listen, now Pepsi is delicious, and Diet Pepsi is what you get when you clean out the Pepsi machines. It tastes like swill.
So
Exactly. Thank you.
So in my defense,
You have no taste buds, apparently. It's like you have the taste buds of a smoker without actually having the benefits of smoking.
the benefits of smoking.
I don't know what the benefits of smoking are, but it's like you have the taste buds of a smoker who's burned their taste buds completely off.
No, that's all the chemo from his cancer.
Ladies and gentlemen, Muttley has entered the building.
So in my defense,
I don't think you have a defense. You drank a regular damn Pepsi and couldn't even tell it wasn't diet. What defense do you have?
Now, this reminds me, didn't you switch out a Coke for his Pepsi once? And he couldn't tell the
And Benson
difference?
Grist Mill, actually. We switched out his Diet Pepsi with Diet Coke, and he had no idea. This is the best Diet Pepsi I've ever had. Defend that. Go for it. Tell me how you're not, other than I'm stupid, how are you going to defend that?
Johnny Cochran.
He can't breathe.
I'd like to point out Exhibit A. So here's the thing. I am going to defend this.
I don't know how.
It's a fountain drink. They're watery anyway.
Oh, my God. That's your defense?
That is my defense. I stand by that, sir.
Oh my! You know what? You know, if I ever get arrested, you're not. I'm gonna hire somebody else. You would make a terrible lawyer. In my defense, Honor, it's a fountain drink. you literally make the worst lawyer ever. I watched him stab him, but he didn't do it.
Because it was
a butter knife.
It was a butter knife. It shouldn't have killed him.
Only steak knives can do that, or forks. Okay.
No, you don't understand, Honor. I yelled surprise.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Oh,
That goes back.
yeah, I was gonna say that's an inside joke that nobody gets. But
No, I know, and I'm not going to tell the joke because it's.
oh, we'll get crucified by all the listeners.
Our show would be canceled.
Surprise!
God.
John Zaffis, surprise!
That's your ultimate fantasy, isn't it? The John Zaffis
Good
surprise.
I just
The
got
whole the whole
Deanne,
room
did
is
you
just
find
like
some energy
crying.
I did.
Welcome to the
Do we need some
Supernatural Hour,
tissues?
where we talk about nothing but Pepsi and surprise.
All right, so let's actually talk about the
okay.
Benson Grist Mill investigation.
I heard footsteps.
Tell us about your footstep hearing.
That's it.
Well, there were a lot of people there, right?
Yeah, there's footsteps everywhere. People going up and down stairs. It was
Doors opening and closing.
tape recorders going on and off. People saying whispering for the recording. It was just there was all sorts of stuff that happened last night.
I heard voices in the dark.
So I actually had some of the ticket holders approach me at the start of the investigation. They're fairly new to investigating, never been to Benson Grist Mill before. Well, one of them had and the other one had, and they were only able to go into like 4 buildings. They wanted to go and investigate in the barn and wanted me and some of the other investigators to take them. So we did. And we're in there with Paul and some of the other investigators. And we started asking the spirits questions in there. And there was one particular spirit that I was warned beforehand that was kind of grumpy.
You are welcome.
Thank you. And for some reason, during the course of the investigation, like his voice, like we turned on Echovox and his voice started coming through the Echovox. So I started asking him questions. Or actually, there was a little boy named Andrew there. And we were asking questions to Andrew about the man. And I guess the guy got kind of agitated. Like Paul was like picking up on the feeling that, no one's ever really noticed that this man's in the barn. And no one's ever really paid him any attention. He just kind of likes to be left alone. And here I am asking this little spirit if he's friends with the man, or if the man does magic tricks for him and, promises him stuff and has him go and spy on other spirits and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, just like in the middle of me asking a question, everyone's like, "Did you hear that?" And I stopped talking, and you hear, and if you've ever been to this barn at the Benson Grist Mill, there's really no easy way to get up onto the second floor there. Like, you have to climb over some ladder and, like, move your body in some weird way just to get up there. Like, it's not readily accessible.
Yeah, they use it for storage, but it's an ordeal to get stuff in and out of there.
Yeah, it's not easily accessible for anyone. So as I'm asking this question, we hear what sounds like it starts on the north side of the building, or the barn, which is away from where like you would be able to get up there anyways. And we heard at least 5 or 6 footsteps, loud footsteps, walking across the second floor of the barn. And the first thing I said was, "Paul, did you have your recorder going?" He's like, "Yes, I did." And then he kind of turned it on because he does. Not only does he do his magazine, but he's got this video YouTube show that he's starting up as well. And so he did like a quick little interview with me on the spot to ask about what had just happened. But yeah, everyone that was in the barn at that time, we all heard the footsteps walking across that second level. And that was about the extent of the activity that I had from the start of the investigation. Anyway.
So that was his way of telling you to bugger off?
Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of the feeling we got, is he just didn't want us asking about him anymore, so he just kind of stomped around, and we're like, all right, and we packed up our stuff and moved on to a different spot in the venue.
My experience there last night was I had a ton of ghost meter proactivity. In fact, it's kind of funny because I was in a cabin with 2 investigators, and by investigators I mean guests, not actual like our investigative team, but just some investigators who came to the event. And we're talking with somebody, and we're kind of getting kind of haywire answers, kind of this, that, and the other. And Tim came in and basically asked the Ghost Meter Pro, "Is this Andrew?" Yes. It had actually been the spirit that Tim was talking to, had wandered over and was kind of screwing with us a little bit. It was interesting last night. We did have some activity, but not a ton. It was kind of a quiet night. We've kind of experienced it, and I know we've talked about it on the show before, but sometimes ghost hunting is kind of like fishing. Sometimes you go out and you can catch every fish in the lake, and other times you go out, same bait, same time of day, same weather conditions, and it's pretty slow. And it was actually kind of a slow investigation last night.
Everyone that was in the barn with me was ecstatic that they actually heard footsteps.
I know Elle said that she heard some footsteps in the barn later. She went in there, I think, by herself and heard some footsteps. I know that I went to the top floor of the big mill, and you could feel some pretty crazy energy up there. Also had a little bit of activity on the main floor of the big mill. And then out in the schoolhouse, we had quite a bit of activity with the flashlights, the Ghost Meter Pro, and some things of that nature. But overall, everybody said it was a relatively slow night. And I would have to agree with them. For Benson Grist Mill, it was a little underwhelming overall, but it was still, I had a good time. I don't know if you had a good time or not, but I had a fantastic time.
No, it was actually really fun, and I'm excited to see if anyone got any EVPs. I know there's the people that I was working with yesterday, I'm pretty sure they got some EVPs. I know they had some from Family Tree that they said they wanted to forward on to us.
Well, I was going to say, and in my experience, usually when the investigation is quiet as far as activity that you're having happen right in front of your face kind of thing, when it's quiet and you're not seeing much or hearing much, that's usually when you get a lot more EVPs than when things are going kind of crazy. Did have some kind of fun moments yesterday. I know there was a guy rolling around. I can't remember what his name was, but he had like a kind of a GoPro and some infrared lights on his...
yeah, he had a GoPro attached to his hat, and you just see the two red dots on his hat, and it looks like these little beady eyes.
And he's kind of a tall guy. He's probably about 6'6".
Yeah, so if you didn't know he was in the room, you walk in there and see that, you thinking you're seeing like these red glowing eyes. It was his infrared light.
Yeah, we were in one of the cabins. One of the doors was kind of blowing open and closed, and one of our guests, her name is Shannon, she was kind of poked her head around the corner to see what was going on with the door, and that's right when he came walking around the corner, and she about shit down both legs. And because she was so scared, her daughter who was with her, she freaked out. So we had kind of a fun little freak out moment where a couple of people had heart attacks, which is why we sign waivers. So if you have a heart attack, we're not responsible.
Can't sue us when you die.
But leave us good EVPs. So, anything else you want to talk about Benson Grist Mill?
Negative.
Now let's talk about weird crap that we found on the internet.
I found stuff.
Did you find stuff?
Yes.
So I found an article which I found is interesting, and it came with the video, and I've had you guys all watch the video, and I've not asked anybody's opinion on this yet, so I'm going to talk about it, and then we are going to discuss it.
He actually wrote a script and told us all what our opinion was.
Yes. Tim, here's your opinion. So the Traveling Museum of the Paranormal and Occult is the world's only mobile museum of haunted artifacts. It's a group, and I don't know where they're based out of, but they...
Will you say mobile,
they're mobile.
again?
Mobile?
Okay, thank you.
Mobile?
Did I say mobile?
No, you said mobile.
Oh,
Being that they are mobile, I don't think they have a place that they're based out of.
They have to have a home base.
No, they don't. Gypsies don't have a home base.
But they're not gypsies,
but it's not
are
the
they?
Gypsy Museum of Paranormal Artifacts, is it, Tim?
Well, they could be gypsy-like people.
All right. So basically, this is a museum of haunted stuff. And they decided to take their museum of haunted stuff and...
You're the master of mechanical stuff.
And their museum of haunted stuff, and they hired a guy to come in and do 3D scans of their artifacts with the idea to make 3D printings and recreate some of these artifacts for display. And one of these artifacts is named Billy. And Billy is basically a haunted...
Wooden idol.
It was an idol, so
Yeah.
it's Billy Idol.
Hey, it is Billy Idol.
Had kind of an African-y look to it, African-y mask.
It's a great time for a white wedding. So this idol Billy, it's interesting because they hired this guy and they actually they filmed the process of scanning this, and the guy had this handheld scanner, and it's this wooden idol, and it kind of looks like it's African in origin. But as this guy scanned it, when he got to the face, the scanner wouldn't work. It's almost like there was an invisible something in front of the face. So as the scanner got there, it was just flat, and there's nothing to see. And they tried scanning it over the course of, I want to say 30 hours and multiple attempts. And during the process of doing this, actually ended up doing an EVP session. And during the EVP session, according to this video, and I'll post it on the app's Facebook page, so it should be up when you hear this podcast. Go to the app's Facebook page. You can see the article and the video. But they did an EVP session, and basically Billy told the people scanning it that he was afraid it was going to hurt. He didn't want to be scanned. And they basically claimed that after much negotiation that Billy finally gave in and let them scan the object. And so all was well. But it's interesting because as they're running the scanner over it, again, it looked like there was this invisible barrier or something over the face so you couldn't actually see it. So I'm kind of curious to know what everybody's thoughts are on that. Tim?
Does anyone have anything positive to say about the video? Because I'm going to completely tear this thing apart. One of the biggest problems I had is they claimed that they had scanned other items, toys, and stuff like that, but they don't show that. So, to me, it could be a malfunction with the 3D scanner itself, because they're saying, well, we scanned all this other stuff and it worked just fine. Prove it to me. Show me that that's what you did. The other problem I have is a lot of the times when they were showing that, like, oh, there's something standing in front of it and I can't scan the face, they're only focusing on the computer where the scan's coming from. So I can't see whether or not they're actually putting something in front of the 3D scanner or not. The other problem I have with their impromptu EVP session is the EVPs sounded, and they had legitimate, like, full-on sentences, apparently, what this thing was saying. And I'm like, I don't even know how they made this out, because it was all just garbled nonsense. Having said that, it is entirely possible that there is a spirit attached to that didn't want to be scanned.
What's interesting, and I'm going to jump in, because I had
just,
you guys just watch the video really quick and not the whole thing.
Everything that they did, just like, my thing is like, I want, like I said, if you've got other things that scan just fine, prove it to me. Show me that that's what you did. I want to see the side-by-side comparison. But, I mean, there were some points where you could see the camera was showing both the guy holding the scanner and the computer screen. So, I mean, most of the time they didn't do that. But there are some scenes where they did that, and where you can see where the camera was supposed to be pointed and what was coming up on the screen was not the same thing. And so, I mean, it does lead me to believe that there is possibly something there that was interfering with the scan. I'd call complete and total bullshit on the EVP session, though.
I'm going to jump in on a little bit here. And just to defend it a tiny bit, in the actual article, which I didn't have you read, they said they had issues with a lot of other objects. Like objects that were supposed to be scanned would kind of disappear for a while until they didn't care anymore, then it would show back up. So they talked about multiple objects they had issues with. The EVP session, I'm kind of on the fence with that one. And the reason I say that is because I just had you guys watch the video really quickly. I actually sat there and went over that EVP session like multiple times to kind of listen to it. And I can hear it after listening to it like 10 plus times. I'm like, okay, I get where they're getting
the part
that.
where it said yes, that was clear, but the before and after that,
I don't want to be scanned.
Yeah, it was just so garbled, like you can't make it out.
My issues with the EVP session is I've done enough EVP sessions and heard enough EVPs in and of themselves that the whole full sentence, I'm having a conversation back and forth, kind of made me raise an eyebrow. And I'm not saying that a very powerful spirit couldn't speak full-on sentences, but it just seemed odd that they were having a conversation.
And that's kind of where I was going to go next. Is it just
the fact that it answered every single question they had
in a 2-minute EVP session to have all that information?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like on the EVP session, I'm calling bullshit. But as far as like there being a spirit actually attached to that object, not wanting to be scanned, it's extremely possible. Because like I said, there were scenes where, I mean, they did kind of mention at one point where they turned off the scanner and it wasn't like actually recording the image, but the image was showing up on the screen. But as soon as he hit the record button, you could clearly see this like white circle around the image.
Kind of an invisible something.
So, I mean, there was like I said, there was a lot of times where they were showing just one or the other. They weren't showing both, but on the times that they did show both, while the guy was trying to scan the image and the computer screen in the background, you can clearly see that, yeah, it wasn't scanning the way that it probably should have been scanning. So I call fake on the EVP session, but I do think that there was probably something there, like a spirit or something attached to that particular artifact that did not want to be scanned.
Which I did confirm with Peaches that there was something attached, but I'm going to wait for her opinion very last. She's going to have the final say because she has...
Who said that I was going to say anything?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Steve Jobs.
All right, we're starting the show over. Deanne, your opinion.
I just gave it.
Okay, that's it. I thought it was kind of interesting. I think it's possible. The EVP session I was a little bit wishy-washy on. Like I said, I could hear what they were getting. I had to listen to it several times, but I struggle with the fact that they're able to get that much information out of that really short EVP session. I've just never seen that reliably. Being able to say, "Hey, what's up?" and get the information back that they were
Get
more
an
specifically
instantaneous
looking for.
answer to every single question that you ask.
That's where I struggle. So Peaches, you've seen the video. I had you watch it as well. What did you see, and what is your opinion on the scanning of cursed paranormal objects?
Oh, you're talking to me. Okay.
It's the medicine.
It's Dion's fault. She gave me some kind of
Yeah.
pill. I didn't ask what it was. I just took it.
Either ecstasy or acid.
Oh dear, there's drug dealing. I'm cutting that out.
There's no drug dealing.
I gave her an allergy medicine, and if she reacts to it like I do, she's a little
Pretty sure it was a Claritin.
pretty tipsy. It was Zyrtec.
There is a spirit attached to that object. That for sure there is. As far as the EVP session goes, the frequency of the answers is crap because he didn't say as much as they had going across the bottom of the screen. He did speak, it's just not what exactly he said. They just kind of guessed what he said. No, he does not want to be scanned because he doesn't know what technology is. 2, it's not their right to scan him. It is still, even though he's not living and he's kind of possessing an object of sorts, it's still a person in a way. You need to ask their permission. If they say no, then it's no. Obviously, according to them, he said yes or whatever after the fact.
They said eventually they got, after negotiation, I think was a word, that he agreed to be scanned.
And with the type of entity that was inhibiting that thing, it's quite possible that was probably it. It's kind of one of those, I'm going to barter with you to get what I want. So it's not necessarily a type 3, but it is one of those, it's like, he's very greedy. He wants what he wants. And if you don't, give it to him, then he's not going to do what you want. And so, yeah, he did make it difficult for them to scan him from the get-go until they did come to an agreement. But yeah, as far as like all the stuff that they think that he said was not accurate, but he was responding, just not in the way that they were putting it across. So
Now, is it bad that when you first started showing this video, they talked about they wanted to 3D scan and 3D print this haunted object? Is it bad that the first thought I had in my mind is, can we do that with the Amityville spoon?
yes, that is a bad idea.
I want to 3D print the Amityville spoon and then sell them on eBay.
A pure replica of the Amityville spoon, which currently resides in my garage.
Yeah, I'd be cursed to shit.
Yes, you would.
Even if it's just a 3D scan, it's not the actual spoon.
Yeah, you'd still be cursed because that's not. No, you're not supposed to profit from that.
See, that would be interesting. I'd be curious to know, as far as their 3D scans of cursed objects, whether it would just be an inanimate 3D object, or if there would be some kind of holdover.
Well, the attachment split, like it just takes the attachment and now it's 2.
Not necessarily an attachment, just like the negative energy, if it would kind of pick up some of the traits. I don't know. I'm just speculating out loud. But
I would suppose so.
Can we 3D print a spirit?
I wish our audience could see the look that Peaches just gave Tim, like he has the brains of cottage cheese.
Well, no, if you're 3D printing a haunted artifact, maybe you're printing some of that energy too. You don't know. You haven't done it. You don't know.
It's called transference. It's called science.
Science.
That's what
the paranormal. There is no paranormal science, though.
Okay, so then what is...
I think she meant seance.
Seance?
It's seance!
This coming from somebody who's somewhat skeptical in the first place? That's all about, debunking things?
Well, I want to see if I can create another haunted what if I 3D printed Annabelle? Would that be haunted too?
Just the energy. It doesn't mean it would be haunted.
Okay, so think of it this way. You take Annie and you go try to 3D print her. See what happens.
No, I want to 3D print the haunted object and see if it recreates another
like some kind of resonance with the negative energy.
It will just have the energy. It's not going to be possessed like the current object is. No.
Then why can't we 3D print the Amityville spoon?
Because you're making profit and that's not good.
Well, what if I don't sell it though? What if I just create a bunch of them and I have this whole collection, like fill up my wall with Amityville spoons?
Are you going to eat with them?
No. That would just be weird. I don't want to die. I just want to have a collection of haunted spoons. This is my collection of spoons, my glassware.
Negative energy spoons that I hope one day will be haunted. Is that what you're trying to get at? You're trying to invite things to haunt.
I can just see. I can just see it now. Tim just approaching people with this creepy ass look on his face, going, "You want a spoon?"
That's what my point is like there's actually people out there trying to recreate haunted objects. My opinion, probably not a good idea. Don't do it. Just let the haunted shit be haunted.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what their ultimate purpose is with this.
Exactly. That's kind of what my dumbass questions are all about. It's like, why would you want to create this haunted object? You've already got one. Why would you want to make a copy of it?
I'm not so sure that that they're trying to replicate the haunted object as so much that they're trying to, if the world or if something were to happen to that object, people aren't always open-minded and they're like, oh, well, if the object is gone, obviously the possession is gone. And it's like, no, not really.
Yeah, I ultimately don't know what their end goal was, but it's kind of it poses some interesting questions. So speaking of interesting questions, do you have anything for us on this episode, Tim?
Well, besides
that you want to make replicas of haunted spoons and sell them to people?
I'm not saying that oh my God. Do you pay attention?
Yes.
So what I'm saying
I
is
heard what you said.
There's people out there that would actually try to do that shit. I guarantee it. That's what I'm saying is like it's a dumb idea. I don't know why someone's trying to recreate a haunted object for whatever reason.
Dude, it's called sarcasm.
I will fight you.
And folks,
I will fight you and win.
And that will be this episode of Supernatural.
So speaking of haunted objects,
Tim does have something for us.
Yeah, I actually found this story. There's this awesome.
Did you replicate my article?
Yeah, I'm actually. I 3D printed your article, and I'm just going to rehash the whole thing that we just did. There's actually this awesome website. It's called paranormalwarehouse.com. There is a gentleman by the name of Ben Canham that has recently posted photos of him and his haunted doll on YouTube.
I'll tell you what's haunted is that mustache. That mustache looks like it's cursed.
Yeah, well, you just wish you could grow one. So basically, he recently bought this haunted doll, and when you buy the doll, it comes with a note that says, hello, thank you for purchasing Richard and Sarah. These items were found in an abandoned car in 1990. The woman who found them took them home. After a few days, she started to notice the doll had moved positions and the box was open. This happened a few times. She started to hear giggling coming from the room they were being kept in. Eventually, the activity grew, and she found my aunt and asked for help. My aunt took the items and held a séance. She learned that the spirits' names were Richard and Sarah. They were lovers in life and became bound to the items that meant something to them. Sarah is bound to the doll and Richard to the box. We are unsure how they passed. These items were returned as the buyer reported walking up and down their stairs of a night and began to hear a whisper. This freaked them out and the items were returned. UK law means that I must state that this is for entertainment purposes only. Paranormal activity cannot be guaranteed as experiencing the paranormal is different for each. Please use the white sage incense stick if required. Thank you. God bless. That's the note that actually comes with these dolls when you purchase them. How or why these spirits, like I said, they don't know why they're attached to these items, like why the spirits attached to the doll or the box. But I have shown the picture of the doll to Peaches, and I believe she confirmed that the doll is actually haunted.
How about the box? Does Richard inhabit the box?
There's no picture of the box.
There is too?
There is.
There is the picture of the box. and it's not haunted.
Like I said, I actually saw that article earlier today, and so I knew there was a picture of the box. Yeah.
That's my story.
I'd be curious to know who wrote the note and why this thing's being passed around so much.
I don't know, but
it sounds like it's being passed all over the place.
Yeah, well, that's what happens in the UK. Things get passed around.
Thank you.
And that is our show, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good one.
You've been listening to the Supernatural Hour at AdvancedParanormal.com. The Supernatural Hour is part of the Radio Ronin network found at RadioRonin.com. Copyright 2021 by Advanced Paranormal Services.